How often do you feel that something strange happens with our educational system? No need to answer, it's a rhetorical question. Well, almost every common student thinks about something like that. I admit that educational system doesn't work. Actually, it doesn't work as it should. Lots of homework, copious amount of subjects that are actually useless for many people. And this strange moment where quality is less important than quantity. Some people can say that Soviet education was the best in the world. I can't say nothing for or against these words, I wasn't even alive then. But even if it's true, it was the best, 40 years ago. And it's obvious that times have changed and education also had to change, but if I'm standing here and talking about education, it means it didn't. So it can sound like I hesitate, but that's not a full picture. I've been studying such a system for 10 years and have one more. So that gives me right to talk about it. And okay, maybe you want to be an engineer, lawyer or translator, but here you'll face the first problem. Tell me why engineer, lawyer, translator needs chemistry, biology, math, literature for overall development? It could be nice to take a primary one at first. System should adapt to student, to his strong and weak sides, but not the vice versa. It's really strange that 15-year-old boy can clearly see this while not people in jackets and ties. And if anyone asked me, hey, how do you think the system should actually look like? I would answer something like, maybe for first 5 or 4 years we have some basics of lessons like basic math, English, physics. And after the 5th, we have to choose what we can do in the best way and what do we like the most, because person who likes stuff he does will do this in the best way. Okay, let's finish this part of my talk with quotation of Albert Camus. School prepares us for the life in a world that does not exist. And that's absolute truth, because for the normal life in modern society we at least should know how to find a job, pay taxes, buy a house. But what do you know instead? That Jack has 15 apples after giving the half of the previous amount to Sasha, and that sinus of 90 degrees is 1. Nice knowledge, it's definitely worth 10 years of my life. Give me more. Okay. Well, also a really big problem is amount of homework. Is it normal to read a part of a huge novel till the next lesson? Okay, maybe it is, but not in a library. You still got lots of subjects you don't actually care about. Okay, I'll give a really simple example with Ukrainian literature, because we'll have a question about this novel on our finals. But that's not a reason to give us homework 999 pages of this novel, write 20 essays about main character and his actions, and maybe learn some monologues by heart. Why not? It's a valley of plenties. Of course, I exaggerate, but everything inevitably leads to it. Mentioning all tendency, I'll give a second example to give you truly understand the situation. Math. You know, of course you don't know. 3 or 4 months ago, I had really strange homework. You know, 7 tasks is kinda a lot, take into account the fact that each task had 6+ equations, and each equation took a quarter of the page. I was too lazy and too tired to do all this, so I made only one task with 6 equations in it. And I remembered everything. I found my drafts from previous lesson and I actually solved it. And the next day was the reason why I remembered it. It was a test, algebra test. And I passed it for the highest mark. And let me remember that the person with 12 and the guy who made only one task is actually the same person. And here comes the question, why we had to do other six tasks if only one reminded about everything? Perhaps the educational system forgot what for homework exists. To remember the person and to make him understand the stuff they did on the previous lesson, but not to make his life a routine. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine that people are cups that can consist of water. That's a normal European or American student, and that's what I call a stream of knowledge. As you can see, this stream is well balanced and he seems happily absorb it. But that's how our educational system looks like. With each new flute, he loses more and more information and understands lesser and lesser. But there are some exclusions. Someone can absorb and understand information, and they're really smart. Being fair with you, this type exists in both educational systems, in that and in our. But there, they can understand this stream of information because they actually can do this. They have special minds and they have to be adapted, like to have own tests, own examples, and everything like that. But in our system, they just have to improvise, adapt, and overcome. But not everyone can do this. And it would be strange if I came here told that educational system is bad and didn't give some solutions, some examples of solutions. And however, there are some things that can be done. From the point of view of government, we can do some specialization to make people choose what they like the most and what they want to do. Because it's really much better to have one surgeon instead of 10 nurses. It's different levels. Even 100 nurses can do the same, it can do only one surgeon. But we're not from government, as far as I'm concerned. But if you are, please tell me, we can change future together. Okay, some examples. Poland. My friend studied in Poland for 2 months, and he told me some interesting things. Firstly, he told that in 5th grade they only start to do multiplications on a high level, while our students already understand that there are numbers below 0. It doesn't mean that they're stupid or something, they just know everything they need to know, and everything they should know. And exactly this thing doesn't let their life turn into routine and ruin all their life. They're just happy of studying as far as they know, but well, can't we? And mentioning old tendency, second example, Sweden. The main thing of this educational system is to find and develop strong sides of students and give additional pressure to the weak to make them disappear. And teacher there is not a strict dictator with a pointer. It's a person who assists and helps to understand and overcome any obstacles. As I said, we're not from government, so some situations, some things that can be done with the help of ordinary students. They can make some student council that can do and solve problems like the ones that I mentioned. For example, they can do some counting of time that spends on doing homework. That can actually make people really easier. They can collect this information and give it to head teacher, and if amount of information will be bigger than 15 hours per week, it's really strange. It means that some things should be done. And second thing they can do is make some stocks. Once per month maybe, to make students be a teacher, to lead the lesson as they see it. It will help students to show themselves and to actually show people how it should like. They can use jokes, they can use some, I don't know, local jokes, some local things, and that will show the students are actually person, but not a part of class. And here my talk comes to inevitable finish. So the last thing I want to tell is thank you for attention.